It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, wide awake. Your heart is pounding, your stomach is tight, and you have no idea why. No threat. No reason. Just this creeping dread rising from somewhere deep inside you. So where is it actually coming from? Most people assume emotions begin in the brain. A thought appears, a feeling follows. But science is revealing that the story starts somewhere else entirely. What if the emotion did not start in your mind at all? What if it started in your body, and your brain just caught up later? There is a sense inside you that most people have never heard of. It has no name in everyday conversation. Scientists call it interoception. Interoception is your body sensing itself from the inside. Every heartbeat, every breath, every twist of the gut feeding a constant stream of signals to your brain. This is not a new idea. Researchers have known pieces of this puzzle for decades, but nobody has ever mapped the full system. Until now. In 2024, the NIH launched a landmark $14.2 million project with one goal: to chart this hidden sense for the very first time. What they are mapping could rewrite how we understand every emotion you have ever felt. Joy, fear, love, grief, all of it. So what exactly is interoception? And how has it been shaping every feeling you have ever had, completely without your knowledge? The answer starts deep inside your body, where a vast and ancient monitoring system runs silently every second of your life. It is called interoception, and it is the nervous system's continuous, real-time reading of everything happening inside your body. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your blood pressure, your digestion, even the state of your immune system. Interoception tracks all of it, constantly. Think of every sense you already know: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Those are your exteroceptive senses. They read the world outside you. There is also proprioception, the sense of where your body parts are in space. It is why you can touch your nose in the dark without missing. But interoception is something entirely different. It points inward. It reads you, not the world around you. Imagine your body as a living broadcast tower. Every organ, every vessel, every square centimeter of tissue is transmitting signals upward to your brain right now. We're talking about thousands of signals every single second. The vast majority of them never reach your conscious awareness at all. This is not a metaphor or a poetic idea. Interoception is a genuine, fully mapped sensory system with its own dedicated nerves, pathways, and brain regions. And here is the part that changes everything. This system does not just monitor your body. It is the biological foundation of every emotion you have ever felt. That idea has a history, and it begins with a man who said something so strange, so backwards, that the scientific world spent decades trying to forget he ever said it. His name was William James. The year was 1884. And in a single journal article, he flipped the entire logic of emotion upside down. Everyone assumed the story went: something happens, you feel fear, then your body reacts. Heart pounds, hands shake, breath quickens. James said, "No, you do not tremble because you are afraid. You are afraid because you tremble. The body acts first, the feeling follows." The brain reads what the body is doing, and that reading becomes the emotion. Fear is not a command the brain sends down. It is a message the body sends up. The scientific community listened politely, then spent the next 100 years building a completely different theory and pushing James quietly into a footnote. The brain first model dominated. Emotion lived in specific brain structures. The amygdala fired. Signals cascaded downward. The body was just the output device. Then, in the 1990s, A neurologist named Antonio Damasio started studying patients with damage to a specific part of the brain, and something strange kept appearing. These patients could reason perfectly. They scored normally on every intelligence test, but they could not make decisions. Simple choices paralyzed them completely. Damasio's insight was that these people had lost something. They had lost the ability to feel their body's reactions to options. And without those signals, reason alone was useless. So the signals matter, but where do they actually come from? To answer that, we need to go deeper, all the way down to the machinery itself. Your body is carpeted in sensory neurons, not just in your skin, but buried inside your heart, your gut, your lungs, and your kidneys. These neurons are listening constantly. They detect stretch, pressure, chemical shifts, temperature, every heartbeat, every breath, every meal. But how exactly does a physical pressure become an electrical nerve signal? For decades, that was one of biology's biggest mysteries. Then came a discovery that won the Nobel Prize. Ardem Patapoutian and his team identified proteins called PIEZO-1 and PIEZO-2. These are mechanical receptors that sit in cell membranes all across your body. When physical pressure deforms the membrane, the piezo protein physically opens like a tiny gate. Ions flood in. The cell fires an electrical signal. Pressure in, signal out. That is the moment your body starts to speak. And the primary road those signals travel is one of the most remarkable structures in human anatomy. The vagus nerve. It is the superhighway of interoception. A single nerve that wanders from your brainstem all the way down through your heart, lungs, and gut. Its name comes from the Latin word for wandering, and it earns that name. The vagus touches almost every major organ before it reaches the brain. Roughly 80% of its fibers carry signals upward, from body to brain. Your organs are talking. The brain is mostly listening. Those signals arrive at the brainstem first. Then they are relayed up to a region deep inside the cerebral cortex called the insula. The insula is your brain's body map. This is where raw biological signals stop being data and start becoming feelings you can actually sense. But here is where everything you think you know about emotions starts to crack open. For most of history, we assumed emotions were things the brain discovered, like finding an object that was already there. Modern neuroscience says that is exactly backwards. Emotions are not found. They are built, moment by moment, by a brain that is constantly predicting. Your brain does not sit and wait for signals to arrive. It fires first, guessing what the body is doing before the data even comes in. Scientists call this interoceptive prediction. The brain models the body's internal state before reality confirms it. When the actual body signal arrives, and it does not match the prediction, the brain needs to explain that gap, and that explanation becomes the emotion. Consider this. Your heart is racing. Palms are damp. Breath is shallow. That is a neutral set of body facts. Now place that body in a waiting room before a job interview. The brain reads the context and labels those signals. Anxiety. Now, place that exact same body on a roller coaster. Same racing heart, same damp palms. The brain calls it excitement. The body signal was identical both times. Only the brain's interpretation changed. The emotion was never in the body. It was constructed by the mind reading the situation. You are not a passive receiver of your feelings. You are their author. And that changes absolutely everything about what it means to feel something. But authorship can go wrong. Sometimes the brain misreads the signals, and the story it writes becomes one of fear, numbness, or chaos. Take anxiety. At its core, anxiety is often the brain catastrophizing a perfectly ordinary body signal. Your heart beats slightly faster. The brain labels it danger. Now your heart beats even faster, and the loop spirals out of control. Panic disorder is this loop running at full speed. The body is safe, but the brain has convinced itself, and the person otherwise. Depression tells a different story. Instead of too much signal, there is too little. The body sends messages, and the brain goes quiet. Research shows that people with depression often have blunted interoceptive awareness. They feel disconnected from their own bodies, like strangers inside their own skin. PTSD scrambles the system in yet another way. Trauma rewires how the brain interprets body signals, turning ordinary sensations into invisible tripwires. Eating disorders, too, are deeply interoceptive. Many people with anorexia or bulimia show altered ability to detect hunger and fullness signals from within. Even some features of autism involve interoceptive differences. How a person registers internal sensations shapes how they understand their own emotional states. Here is the stunning part. Antidepressants and mindfulness therapies both work, in part, by changing interoceptive processing. We have been treating interoceptive disorders without ever calling them that. And then something happened that changed everything. In 2023, the NIH announced one of its most ambitious neuroscience grants in years. Nobel laureate Ardem Patapoutian Scripps Research and the Allen Institute received a single grant worth $14.2 million over 5 years. It was called the NIH Director's Transformative Research Award. That word, transformative, is not used lightly. The mission: build the first-ever comprehensive atlas of the interoceptive neural system, a complete map of the sense that lives inside you. The atlas will label every sensory neuron found throughout the internal organs, from the gut to the heart to the lungs. Using whole-body imaging techniques, researchers will trace every signal from its origin in the body all the way up to the brain. The result will be a molecular and anatomical map. Which neurons, which chemicals, which pathways, and exactly where they lead. Why did this atlas not exist before? Because interoceptive signals are notoriously difficult to isolate. They scatter, they overlap, and they travel through shared pathways. A pain signal and a hunger signal can travel side by side along the same nerve. Separating them was, for decades, essentially impossible. New tools, new imaging, and Nobel-level expertise have finally made this map possible. The technology caught up to the question. This is the moment interoception moves from fringe curiosity to the center of neuroscience. The body has been speaking all along. Now, we are finally learning to listen. The body has been speaking all along. Now we are finally learning to listen. Go back to that bedroom. The ceiling. The 3 a.m. Quiet. The tightness sitting in your chest like something unfinished. You know now what that feeling is. Not a mystery, not a malfunction. A signal. Your body measuring itself and sending the report upward. The tightness is not anxiety living in your chest. It is your brain constructing anxiety from the signals your chest sent first. That single idea changed everything. William James said it first. The feeling follows the body. We do not tremble because we are afraid. We are afraid because we tremble. Then came the hardware. PIEZO 2, the protein that converts pressure into electricity. The nerve ending that presses against your heartbeat 100,000 times a day. And emotions are not delivered to you whole. They are constructed, prediction by prediction, from the constant stream of signals your organs send upward every second. That is not philosophy. That is neuroscience. And it has real clinical stakes. Depression, PTSD, chronic pain, eating disorders, all of them touched by interoception. And somewhere in a lab right now, scientists are building the atlas, mapping every nerve that carries a signal from your body to your brain, one pathway at a time. Within 5 years, we may have the first complete map of your hidden sense. Every signal, every pathway, every whisper your body sends your brain named and understood. So the next time you feel something you cannot name, pause. That feeling came from somewhere real. Your body built it. Your brain signed off on it. Neither one is lying to you. If this changed how you think about your own body, subscribe. Every video we make goes this deep, and the next one goes deeper. Next, the vagus nerve, the longest wire in your body, the one that connects your gut to your brain and may hold the key to healing anxiety from the inside out.